just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, same old, same old, every single day, without this. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
It happens to me all the time, that, doesn't it? You know, when you're little picture comes off like that. I think the little picture will be better than the big picture, to be honest. But anyway, good evening. It's the history show tonight. It's God knows what we'll be talking about anyway. I've got Anthony on with me, and we just go off on a tangent. It's only what you all talk about actually as well, besides showing some pictures and things, you know. See what the little Lambie says. Good evening, Frank, Anthony, and all you lovely people in the chat. Isn't that lovely? Johan, good evening, Frank and legend. Franco, apologies. I missed the film show, especially when the background was the outside. Hope everyone is well. To be honest, I think you're the only one besides Bella Natalia. She's watching us as well. And she says she likes it. Be interesting to see. I was going to ask you as well if you want to come on. What you think of the series, which I keep telling people to watch and they don't bother watching. Yo, Stay, the old mate, Stay. Good evening, Frank and Anthony. Good evening, Stephen. He's got back from Cape Verde, which is nice, isn't it? Cape Verde. And we want to say to Franco, Anthony and chatters, hope you're all managing to keep warm. Yeah. Are we managing to keep warm? That's the problem, and that's the question I think everyone will be asking. Are we all, striving to keep warm? Do we dare put the heating on? Because of the hikes, which is absolutely incredible. The hikes, unfortunately. But anyway, excuse me. I just want to thank Gap Painting Services for the Frank Carlyle podcasts, all of them, every single one of them. And please get them in. Don't struggle if you're trying to decorate for Christmas. Just get them in. Tell them to give you the price without any obligation. And if you're an NHS worker, special discount you get as well. And if you're an elderly couple or an elderly person living on your own, don't get cowboys in. Get these people in because you get a special discount as well. That's Gap Painting Services, who sponsor every single one of the podcasts. Every one. And Gary Rigby, freezing cold in here. I can't afford to put the heating on, but I have 30 candles going. It doesn't seem to be working. I always remember as Rena Curry. Remember the Conservative, I don't know what she was minister of, but whatever she was minister. And it was a freezing cold winter. And I thought, you must remember this when she said, well, my advice for the elderly is to knit scarves and gloves. That was disgusting. And I don't know whether you're aware of it, but any state pensions in this country is the worst in the whole of Europe. The whole of Europe. Lynn Ellis, even if Frank and Anthony and all the chat. Thank you, Lynn. Good evening to you. And Gary says, I have a fan eater as well, but I think they take up a lot of... They do. And I'll tell you what else, which is it says necessary, and that's a kettle. A kettle takes up loads, and I'll give you a little, sort of a bit of advice. When you're boiling, right, and you see the steam coming out, just take it off. Don't let it click off, because that doesn't half go up. The electricity, it really does, when it clicks up. Say like it's there, and if it clicks off, it goes up there. And Tosca, I did try to watch The Outsider, but I've noticed my attention span has gone to pot. The Outsider's brilliant. Johan will tell you that. Even Bella will tell you that, Toscana, your little mate. She said, oh, I'm enjoying it. She's watched 2 episodes. Baltic today, says Lynn. Yes. Baltic. I'm going to bring in my good friends, because he'll just be moaning. Good evening, Frank. We'll be in and out tonight. Stay warm. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. We'll try to. I'll bring in this fella. Hang on. Before I bring him in, Sneaky. I'm no fan of fan eaters. They blow hot and cold, whereas kettles just make my blood boil. There he goes. And there he is here. Are you Andy?
Good evening, Frank. And good evening, one and all. And yeah, we're back to that season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Since the season, yeah. Well, we're in England. Well, we're not quite, but we're a bit of the way up the motorway from England. We're in Liverpool. We're in the north of a country. We're in Celtic surroundings.
Yeah, facing Ireland.
I get a bit of warmth from that. Yeah.
Well, there you go. But the unfortunate thing is, well, funny enough, Ireland, the extreme weather that comes off the Atlantic, it goes across there first. So, believe it or not, it warms down by the time it gets to Liverpool. The temperatures, seem to go up a little, go up rather than down because of the, it's Ireland first, because it really is freezing.
Absolutely.
The Atlantic, the winds and whatever else that comes off the Atlantic, it's absolutely freezing. Then we get the beast from the east, which is from Siberia, we seem to get that as well.
Yeah.
And I always remember in 63 and 83, funny enough, 20-year period when we had 63 was one of the worst winters on record. 63, it was really bitter and, heavy snowfall. And then in 83, it was more or less the same. It was very, very, I remember I was bringing my mother somewhere and I was going down, she lived in Fazakerley, and I was going down the road and it started to skid all over the place. You know what I mean? She was screaming, and that's blimey. And it was that sort of winter, we had. That was in 83. But 63 was the worst winter. It was really bad.
It's a good job we're not fishing this week, then, Frank.
No, it isn't, is it? Gary Rigby says, I've got me woolly hat on and my fingerless step-toe gloves.
I was painting my step-toe gloves the other day, yeah. They're a wonderful invention.
They are, they are, because at least you can, when you've got your gloves on, if you've got normal gloves on, you can't, feel the proper thing. But when you've got the fingerless ones, you can actually touch and feel. With your hands staying warm, that is.
Yeah.
With your hands staying warm, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Johan says, I don't like Stephen King, but that show was brilliant. Essay on grief and how it permeates in the psyche. Yeah, absolutely. That's The Outsider, aren't we?
Right.
Johan's talking about. It really is good.
Yeah, high praise indeed from you, Frank, and some people have seen it. I haven't watched a thing of on the box. I don't know. It's just a phase sometimes we go through, and you think,
yeah, well,
I won't even put it on. Lady puts it on. She watches bits and pieces and stuff, and.
Do you know, I tell you what it is, watching Johan will like this. They'll all like it if I tell them. It's a thing, great psychological thriller. It really is. And I tell you who's in it, Casey Affleck, I think he's a very good actor. And Lawrence Fishburne, he's another good actor, black actor, great actor. And it's about these lads who go to Jupiter. They go to Titan, one of the planets going around there, one of their moons, anyway, satellites. And they reckon that there's life on there. I tell you what, honestly, it's one of the best psychological thrillers I've watched, and I only watched it yesterday. It's really, and you get it on YouTube. It's called Slingshot. It's a cracking film. I didn't fancy it at first, but I put it on nevertheless, and I was just sitting there, I was watching it. Fantastic. It really was. Fantastic.
So, getting back quickly to The Outsider, was that written by Stephen King?
Yes. And yes. Johan and myself, Anthony, don't like his politics. We've both said that at the same time, Stephen King. But, nevertheless, that's another, it's a great, great series. One of the best series I've seen. The Outsider. You want to watch it. You and Lainey want to try and catch it.
Yeah.
Honestly, you do. Do you know if you do it and say you're resting up one afternoon, going into the evening, just put it on, Anthony. Put The Outsider on, and I'll guarantee you after the first episode, you'd look at the second. And after the second, you'd look at the third. Then Lainey will go in and make something to eat. Then you can follow by washing the dishes afterwards. Then you watch it again. It really is good.
You know what? I think I will, because you know what I hate more than anything these days that we never had when we were younger, guys, is you turn the TV on and you're scrolling through relentlessly banal and crap titles on this channel, hundreds of channels with nothing on it.
That's right. And, they say, funny enough, people say, like, oh, yeah, there's thousands of channels there. There must be something that you like. But I think with the likes of being recommending things, the likes of The Outsider, Anthony, honestly, it's fantastic. But you've got to be careful, because if you search and you put The Outsider on, loads of outsiders come on. You know what I mean? Like different pictures, but you've got to get one picture. And what it is, I wonder if Jason's looking in, he'll put it up to because he had it on the back screen. On Saturday morning, The Outsider, and that's what you've got to look for rather than the others. You might go onto the wrong one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think if Jason's with us later on, I think he'll put it up. If not, I'll explain what to look for.
Okay. Thanks, Frank.
And Johan, good evening, international artist Mr. Brown, and loads of scotches for you to keep you warm. Doesn't give any to Gary Rigby, though, does he? Because he's freezing.
Good evening, Mr. Kindness. Thank you, Johan.
And Toscana, I've got a log burner, but even the logs have gone up in price. That rabble in London don't count the north of it. No. You're so right there, Toscana. And Gary says, facing the lovely Isle of Man, just a bit further north, it's really Baltic there in the winter, says Gary.
Wow.
See, a little island. And there it is. He's put it up here.
Oh. Okay.
I'll just take it down. I'll take it down. That's it. That's what you've got to look for.
Yeah.
Will you remember that?
I will.
Because you'll get loads of like outsiders. When you're there researching and it comes up the outsider, but you get other outsiders. That's the one to go for.
I will.
That picture.
Is it a 6-parter or something, Frank? Or
it's only I think it's 8 or 10. I'm not quite so sure. 8 or 10. That's it. There's no like second series, if you know what I mean, third series or whatever. It's just a little block of episodes. I watched it in a day. I watched it back to back. I put it on in the morning. I was doing nothing. I said, I'll put, because I like Jason Bateman. I think he's a great actor. So I put it on. And every year I watched it back to back, right through, till the evening. Yeah.
I'm on it tomorrow.
It's good, honestly. It's great, Jason, isn't he? Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Jason. It's good, isn't he? Stacey says, winter warmer evening. No. Winter warmer event, Friday the 28th of November, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Hilton Hotel, Liverpool 1. Free winter warmer packs, free health checks. Oh, go away.
Really?
Funny enough, I'm at the hospital that day to see a neurosurgeon on the 28th.
Fantastic for that. Yeah.
That's good, that though, isn't it?
That is brilliant as well. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Stepping there says, here still above 20. Oh, we are, look. Because he's living in Barca, you see.
Yeah.
Barcelona. Still above 20 in the day and above 10 at night. And we complain we are getting soft. I am in T-shirt in the sun, but Spaniard dressed for skiing. Do you know what? Bernard Gerrard went to San Francisco. They went to where did they go? They went to Cancun. Then they went into America. Then they went over to Hawaii. You know, so it was a big, long 6-week thing they went on. And he gets to San Francisco, you know, around the Christmas time.
Yeah.
And he said it was very warm, and he was wearing shorts, T-shirt, went out, he said, and all the San Franciscans were walking out with overcoats on, you know, and scarves on and carrying the Christmas presents. He said, do you know what, Francis? He said, it was just like a scene out of a movie, as he called them. You know, a Christmas scene.
Absolutely. It's what you're used to, isn't it? I mean, here in good old Blighty, we get the cold and we feel the cold. Laney and I went to New York in March, years and years ago. First time we ever went. And we thought it was great. People told us it's going to be cold. It's brilliant. Walking around in a suit jacket and stuff. Everyone else was, like you said, all overcoated in hats and scarves. And so it's what you're used to, I guess.
Be brilliant, that. Do you know what Stephen says here? Just look at it there. Frank, I found in Cambridge Library an aerial photos of Liverpool along the Mersey in 1964. Also letters from Dickens, 1838.
Wow.
Tell me where to send them if you'd like to see them. Do us a favour, send them to my messenger, and I'll get them to Jason so he can form a little thing, you know, for one night on here, and we'll show them.
Definitely. How fantastic is that?
Brilliant. Brilliant, that. Thank you, Stephen. Sounds good, Stephen. I'll go to that. That's about the
the health screening. Yeah, in the pack. That does sound brilliant, Stephen.
And Johan says, yes, Mr. Brown King wrote the original novel that was adapted for the telly. That's the
fan of King. I like Stephen King. I've followed them since beginning, Carrie and all of them.
No, honestly, I'm being honest with you. If you watch that, if you like King, Stephen King, you will love this. I'm telling you now. You will love it. Brilliant. One of it, I think it's the best he's done, to be honest. And I've watched loads of it myself. Marie Morgan. Hiya, Frank. Hope you're fit and well. Thank you, Marie. I hope you are too. Honestly. I'm not fit and well. I'm not fit. But, you know, I'm getting there. Put it that way, Marie. But thank you for asking. Marie's one of my ex-students, mature students. And she loved the history, you know. She really did. She was well into it. Liverpool history, that is.
Yeah.
And Gary says, I don't mind, Frank. Good evening, Johan. and Owen Lee. Evening, Frank, Anthony, and chat. Hiya, Owen.
Good evening, Owen, and good evening, all. Forgive my ignorance from before.
And Johan says, at Gary, apologies for being rude. Good evening, sir. Johan was never rude to anyone, is he?
Never.
Never, ever.
You don't get bestowed the title Mr. Kindness for being rude.
No, definitely not. And Gary says, I wish someone would do a 70s channel and just show everything the way it was broadcast at the time, including the news and adverts.
You know what? I think that would go down brilliantly, Gary. I was talking to our daughter, or Katie, about it today. I rediscovered the joys of Whispering Bob Harris. And if no one's grown up with him and the old grey whistle test and stuff like that, that was a pure education, because you never knew if you're going to get Pavarotti or John Lennon or Frank Zappa or whatever you were going to get. It was just fantastic. Loved it. Yeah.
Steppens just I'll get Jason to have a look. He's just sent me it. Isn't that great?
That is fantastic. It's fantastic that you still exist. Brilliant.
Yes. That's wonderful. Thank you, Stephen. And Janet says, Prescott Lands was owned by King's College, Cambridge. BICC has a 100-year leasehold on the land. There you go.
Okay.
And Stephen says, just sent you, yeah. Thank you. And Gary says, I used to watch that show, Anthony. Saw loads of great bands on there.
Me too, Gary. I think any program that goes on TV that inspires us to go and search for stuff is fantastic. It's an education, isn't it? And that was brilliant. I loved it. My only problem, and it used to get me in severe trouble with my mum and my dad, was that when Whispering Bob was on, Whispering Bob used to talk like, tonight's program is going to be, what. So you turn the volume up, and these in the days of no sitting in a chair with the volume controls. So you go to the TV, turn the volume up, and then the music would start. And my mother used to shout from upstairs, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, will you turn that off? No. Everything goes. A learning curve in life, but I love Bob.
Brilliant, wasn't he? But hasn't he recently died?
No, he's been ill. He's actually taken over, and it was that prompted me. He's taken over what used to be a guy called Johnny Walker, who ran a program for years, and he ran a weekends 70s program, playing all great music from the 70s. Well, Bob is now in charge of that and other stuff he does. Yeah, he loves Liverpool, by the way, Bob.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Here. Yeah, so we do the 70s.
Well, Stephen sent this, and Jason said, hang on, what's it Jason say? Jason said, Stephen, can you forward to me, please, on FC Liverpool pod at gmail.com. Cheers. And he will do that. But here's one of the pictures, what he was talking about, the footage of the Mersey. Hang on. look at the state of the liver there. It's black.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. All the soot and the traffic, smog.
It's crazy, isn't it?
64.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're the pictures he sent, and we'll do them. We'll actually do them. Thank you, Stefan.
That's how so many people only live to 30 odd, 40, breathing in that day in, day out.
Yes. And the lovely Janet says a lot of Prescott, I think, is still owned by King's College. It will be. Will be, most probably. Excuse me, coughing there. Bob Harris was my muse, Anthony. He was fab, says the little Lambie, Helen.
He still is. And me too.
And Stefan says, send you the letter of Dickens too. Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't seen it, but you can study with your kind listeners. Most run for a while. Hope everybody, they will enjoy it, Stefan. Another great music show was Revolver with Peter Cook as the host, says Gary Rigby.
Yeah, that was quirky. And then later the Tube with Jules Holland.
That's correct, says Janet. And Johnny Walker was an absolute gem.
Yes. Totally agree, Janet. And I think the only person on the planet that could fill his shoes was Whispering Bob.
And Toscana. I went to school with her at the Union and was chatting to an ex-teacher. He's of Irish descent. Some of his relatives settled in Liverpool, so I told him about Scotty Road with the Irish and the Italians. He was impressed. Well, there you go.
Good.
You can't be not impressed with the Italians and the Irish. To be honest, Toscana.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take the credit. I did mention yours and Anthony's names. No, you've got to say, listen, this is what it's about.
Yes,
this is what it's about. You know, you don't have to.
We're proud to talk about our ancestry exactly the same way as you are, and
exactly.
It's nice that it gets through.
It is. And Gary says, love John Peel as well. Do you know what? I remember, and it was on Channel 4 or 5 or something like that. I think Channel 5 just come out. I'm not quite so sure whether it was Channel 5. And they were in a pub and it was live, right? Forget who was interviewing. And who was sitting there was George Harrison and John Peel. Right. And Harrison was just talking, you know, because he loved Liverpool, no matter what people think. He always came up, didn't he, to see his sister and that. And he was in and out of Liverpool. Anyway, John Peel was saying, you know, Liverpool going on. And he said, oh, you come from Liverpool, you know, the interview. He said, oh, yeah. He says, what part of Liverpool do you come from? The Wirral. It's not Liverpool. He said so. And John Peel just looked at him, you know, man. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, George Harrison used to love the grapes and the crocodile. He used to love a bevy in there. He used to have a big floppy hat and he pulled on.
Yeah. And yeah, look, now this is a little bit. Johan says, where was Greta Thunberg saying, how dare you back then? The pollution. Do you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because when the Nord Stream, I'm sorry about this, but it's a very important point. It's only what Johan is saying there. Greta Thunberg was always going around, complaining about all this, the atmosphere and, global warming and, this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do. Fossil fuel and whatever she was going on about. Climate change. That was her forte, as she taught. And what has happened was Nord Stream was blown up. And that was the most catastrophic thing that happened. Climate change, what they're all going on about, that was the most catastrophic thing that happened. To damage everything. Yeah. Climate change, everything. And she never said a word. She didn't cut. That's why I said she's a phony, that one. Sorry to go on there, people. Really sorry. But that had to be said. And Gary says, I remember that, Frank. It was Jonathan Ross as well. Right, okay. I'm glad you remember it. I really am.
Last Resort was his program, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's one here. Look at that. Who knows St. Anthony's Church?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
We've mentioned that before in the past. I'll tell you something about that, Janet. St. Anthony's Church on Scotland Road, before the emancipation of Catholics in 1830, St. Anthony's Church was in a cellar off Great Homer Street, in a street which is still there today, but not the houses. They're all new houses, they're all new homes. And it was in a cellar because they had to hide, stay in the services before the emancipation in 1830. And that was in Skirving Street, if anybody knows Skirving Street off Great Homer Street. That's where the first St. Anthony's Church was. And when they started to build it, they couldn't have a steeple or anything. It had to look inconspicuous. So by the time the emancipation came about, there was a fellow by the name of Welby Pugin. And he converted to Catholicism because this Welby Pugin was an unbelievable architect and designer of the likes of wallpaper and things, Welby Pugin. And furniture, by the way. Just like Macintosh, Anthony, this Welby Pugin. Anyway, he converted to Catholicism and he ended up building 16 cathedrals and churches, loads of them. Anyway, they sent for him here in Liverpool, but it was on the outskirts of Liverpool. And he came up and he said, "What do you want?" He said, "We want a church here." And St. St. Oswald Gardens, St. Oswald's Church. That was built. And he said, "Do you want a steeple on it?" And they all went, "Oh, yeah." And that steeple on St. Oswald's in Old Swan was the very first steepled Catholic church in the north of England. And he built some things around here. He built the church, I always forget it, St. Paul's in Park Lane here in Liverpool. He built that church. Welby Pugin. Great. And there's a street named after him here in Liverpool. It's just, by Everton Valley.
Yeah.
By Everton Valley, just around there, there's a street called Pugin Street, named after him. Welby Pugin.
That's fantastic, Frank. That's absolutely amazing. What a genius.
Yeah. Oh, he was an unbeliever. He built, as I said, 16 cathedrals. And do you know, when he died, do you know how old he was, Anthony? And loads of churches, as I say, built hundreds of churches all over the place. And do you know how old he was when he died?
No.
42.
Wow. Just burned the candle continuously, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can imagine that, can't you? And
Yes.
Anfield Rose with us. Good evening, gentlemen. Chat. Any aliens watching, Frankie? Most probably.
Probably only us. Bro.
Oh, I watched a film today. I forgot the bloody title. Oh, I forgot the title. And it's a cracking little thing. I'll get it. At the break, I'll run in my living room and I'll get it up and I'll tell you the title.
Brilliant.
I'll watch it. It's a cracking title. A cracking little film. I only watched it this afternoon. It's about a fella. Can I say this?
Yeah.
It's about a fella. He's like a TV presenter. And he goes out, his crew bring him out to like remote places and, like the Arctic and places like that. And survival, like a survival fella. And they bring him out to this place in America, obviously. And there's nothing around, and his producer's saying, look, he said, there's nothing around for Matt. We're going to leave you there for 2 weeks and see how you get on. So he said, okay. And he lights a fire and he's made up with the fire. He catches a rabbit and you see him actually catching the rabbit and skinning it and everything. Oh, but it's a proper film, right?
Yeah.
But it's a cracker. It really is. Smashing little. I'll get the title later on.
Oh.
But it's a good film. And Stepan says, hi Jason, since all that, oh, that's great, that. Thank you, Stepan. Must go, Daniela will kill me. Of course she will. She is waiting at the train station. But go, man, go. You've got to go before she has that Italian thing.
Yeah.
Anger. Anyway, Johan says Nord Stream explosion caused the largest emission of CO2 ever recorded. That's what I mean, Johan. And it was shocking that she didn't say a word, not one word. And we all know who blew it up. And Toscana, Greta's an attention-seeking midget. Yes, she is. Yeah. And Johan Anfield, good evening, legend. Says Johan.
Yeah.
The Anfield comes on, he says hello, gives you the loads of bevies. Oh, there he is there. I'm sorry, Anfield. I'm sorry. He kicked me head in if he sees me. The Anfield. Tom Williams' parish church, says Jeanette.
Legend.
Yeah, we know Tom, don't we?
Scouser. Yeah, and our dear friend, yeah. Bishop Tom Williams.
Yep.
Tom made me artist in resident to St. Anthony's Church. And he cut through all the red tape of churchism to allow us to have the twins christened there. So it was the first time in generations that all my family that came from Scotland Road and were all split up, as you know, through the actions of the council over the years, all to come back. It's like coming back home. And that remarkable man made it happen.
Lovely man. I had to give a speech about the statue, the Sacred Heart, Jesus. You know, at the Eldonians. Anyway, I was late getting there. I had to walk. You know me walking, hobbling. So anyway, I gets there, and there was Bishop Tom there with these other priests. There was loads of people, loads of them. And I walked up, and I went, "Am I late?" And he went, "Yeah." And Bishop Tom went, "You've missed my speech." How dare you? I went, "Sorry, Bishop." Sorry, Bishop. And he just laughed. He just laughed, you know. He said, "Now I'm going to listen to yours," you know, which was really lovely of him. Just a lovely man, as you know.
It's been a remarkable day to listen to the two of you.
Yeah.
Because there's only you and he that could have done it.
And Jeanette says, "I know, in Old Swan." Yes. Oh, Jeanette, what about St. Nicholas's? Jeanette, the things in there which I can't even I can tell you, but I'd have to show you them. I have to, honestly, I'd have to show you rather than say, because I point out things, I'll just say, "Do you see that?" You know, "Oh, ah." Then I'll tell you about it. "Oh, did you see that?" You know, "Ah, wow." Then I'll tell you about it. And you'll be surprised about St. Nick's. You really will. Christopher. Hi, Frank and Anthony and everyone. Like and subscribe.
Brilliant.
Christopher, I've got a few, I'm sorry there, I've got a few football books for you, mate, if you'll ever get in touch with me. Go on, Anthony, I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say good evening, Christopher, and thank you for that.
Yeah. He's nice, isn't he? Always says it.
Yeah.
The outfield to your one.
Yeah.
All right, lads. He loves giving off the bevies to us. And Owen says, on the sign of the church, it said St. Anthony's of Egypt. The new sign just says St. Anthony. Yeah, because it was used to be St. Anthony's of Padua, because that's where Anthony came from. And now they changed the name to St. Anthony's because St. Anthony went as a recluse, became a recluse in Egypt. That's why they changed the name. And Owen Lee just wondered if it's the same saint. Yes. Oh, yeah, it is. Same saint. St. Anthony. There's only one St. Anthony, and that's St. Anthony of Padua.
Yeah.
But we changed the name to the St. Anthony's of Egypt, unfortunately. You know, because he became a recluse and went there. And Jason says, step and slides are on your green room spa. Okay, Jay, thank you. And Jeanette says, sounds like Tom. It is, sounds like he is. He's just a lovely man. Do you know what? I had lunch one day with Joe McGann. You know, the big tall McGann, you know, out of the McGann brothers.
Yeah.
And I had lunch with him. He wanted one of my DVDs. So I brought it up to him. I said, yeah. Wanted it for his mum, he said. I said, no, you don't. You want it for yourself, don't you? And he just laughed. But I gave him a little set of them. I said, yeah. And he was made up. He was
Yeah.
made up, was Joe.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you staying in your mum's?" And he went, "No." He says, "All the lads are there." He says, "I'm staying with Bishop Tom."
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I last met him, when he was staying at Tom's. It was he was starring in a show in town called The Last Ship, and he
Aye.
was sensational and he was brilliant in it. But I met him, I think, the day after, when they did the service for the Lusitania. You know that he's doing an annual service on the waterfront there,
Yeah.
and Joe was there with Tom. Yeah, lovely, lovely.
The
But yeah,
mates, aren't they? The mates.
yes, they are go way back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Tom with all the family. With all of their family. And
Because I'm sorry, Anthony, go on.
no, it's just wonderful, wonderful people. You know.
But as he says, if the house was full, he says, "I go and stay in Tom's." So, well, that's all right then.
Yeah.
Do you go to confession? He just laughs, Joe. He
Yeah.
just laughs. Always laughs at me. And Bella says, "Buonasera a tutti," and Antonio. That means good evening, all, and Anthony.
Thank you.
And the Anfield. I think Professor David Bellamy has it spot on about global warming. There is no truth to it, he says, as all predictions for or against are only models. He also said, "Go and stand outside with a brickie."
Yeah, the true test of Mother Nature. Work outside.
And Janet says, "I've seen the tail live bears overlooking the gardens." That's right, Janet.
That's right. St. Nick's Church. Yeah.
Yep. And it's overlooking the sea, actually. That's the fourth one. The third one overlooks, and the fourth one overlooks the city. Okay, Frank, I'll try to visit you before Christmas. Smashing. Just get down. I've got to. Let's see what I've got for you here. If I can reach them. If I can reach them, just bear with me. I have them as well. I always have. Okay. No, that's not. I don't know where they've gone. They're here somewhere anyway. You'll be made up with them. Yeah, there's one. So you can have that. You can have that, Christopher. And Johan says to Bella, "Good evening, Bella. Frank was talking about the outsider before you joined. Do you have a testimony to sell the show to Mr. Brown?"
Ah, well, that would be wonderful to hear. But I am sold by you and Frank Johan.
And Owen says, "Thank you, Frank. That has bugged me for years." What has? What's it to say? It's bugged you for years. Is that about? It can't be about. I say things and I don't know what I'm talking about half of the time. And Toscana, buonasera, Bella. Che freddo. Oh, it says cold. Molto freddo. Molto freddo.
It's cold.
Toscana and Bella. I was at Lord's with Tom and Nick Wilde, says Jeanette.
No, it's, yeah.
My old girl always went there.
Yeah.
She always went there, you know, with people, bringing people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Bella says, "Thanks, Johan. Hope you're well." Yes, Toscana. It says very cold, says Bella. And Jeanette. And Father John Hetherington. Well, we're getting everything tonight, aren't we? We're getting all the priests and
All the people. But you know what? Liverpool is full of absolutely wonderful, wonderful people. Yeah. Whatever we do for a living, they are.
this was with Flame. God knows what that means. I'm going to show you the building. And it was a shame. They pulled that down in the 1970s.
Oh.
And it was the John Lewis. And he built that for, the poor, like the way people went to the theatre, right? Well, the poor couldn't go to the theatre. They couldn't afford it. So we built this. He built it as a club for them, so that people could go. And beautiful building. Yeah. And also for entertainment, like plays and singing, and that people couldn't see in the theatres because they couldn't afford them. And they pulled the thing down in the 1970s. Or was it the 80s? It's a crying shame what they did with that beautiful, beautiful building.
Yeah.
The David Lewis Theatre.
That's beautiful.
Oh.
Mm.
And look at that. These are the type of buildings that get knocked down by the council. You can't make these things up, can you?
You can't. It's total lack of vision, isn't it? Do they look at these buildings and think them as status symbols, as was going to happen with St. George's in St. George's Hall in the 80s? Oh my God, what goes through their minds?
Yes, what goes through their minds. And it's shocking. Absolutely shocking. And you see the building next to it there in the middle of them.
Yes.
Do you know what that is? It's taken from a different angle. And it's the Sailor's Home.
Oh. So this is more into town.
Yes. 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 Isn't it a shame?
Oh, Frank.
And there's Lord Street.
Yeah.
Look at Lord Street there in 1827. That's a headman, that, isn't it?
It looks like, doesn't it? Yeah.
God bless. Look at the Black Bull there.
Wow. Well.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. We lived round the corner from that years when I was a kid, tiny kid.
Had a couple of drinks in there, a couple of beers.
Yeah.
And I loved this.
Yes, absolutely.
That's absolutely shocking what they done for that.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It was a crime because that was like Piccadilly Circus, actually.
Yeah.
London. because
Yeah.
you had all the neo signs, and there's some cracking colour photographs of the neo signs, in the night,
Yeah.
all lit up. And he pulled it down. And what's there now? A stupid big screen.
Horrible. Which is a total distraction to drivers. That is just brilliant. It's like a mini version of Times Square or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. I'm trying to look for it. We said it here. I don't know where it's gone. Oh, yeah, there it is. So let me show you this a minute. I'll show you what the building on the right. Just bear with me on this. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. So many things to fall. I'll show you something which is criminal again. Criminal. I'm taking that off a moment because I want the people and you, Anthony, to look at the building on the right, the extreme right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look. Hang on. Gonna add this, look, watch. Jason, look. That's it, look at it.
Oh my gosh. How beautiful is that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a shame. And he pulled it down. Pulled it down. Look at it.
Frank, do you know what comes through my mind first thing is how safe that looks to walk around there.
Yes. Yes. With all the light.
Yeah. For everyone, boys and girls, and it's just like so illuminated, even along the street with a kind of. Oh.
Yeah. Now I'm going to show you something. Remember this one? And I said, look at the right hand side, the extreme right.
Yeah.
And that particular building went right around down St. John's Lane. Right? I'm going to show you. It's criminal, isn't it? This pocket bike's in the way. Can't see.
Yeah.
Look at it.
That's you can see so many influences in that. It's just
wonderful. Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Yeah. Shame. Listen, we'll go for a break. And I'll see you after the break.
I'll go and get a cuppa.
Yeah, me too.
In the 19th century, Liverpool had the vision that was the envy of the world. Many firsts were copied, and the overhead railway was no exception. In 1888, an improved plan by businessmen who formed Liverpool Overhead Railway Company had given the go-ahead. Sir Douglas Fox and James Greathead were commissioned to design an elevated railway. After long last, it was finally accepted and the work commenced in 1889. There were problems at first. Fox and Greathead had a dilemma. What was the safest power to use? They considered steam too dangerous because of the many flammable cargoes within the range of the train's sparks that could easily ignite these dangerous cargoes, causing a major catastrophe to shipping and the public. The only other option to pursue in 1891 was the new electric traction. Electricity was carefully chosen because of the enormous advantages: economy, speed, cleanliness and quiet running. Work was completed in January 1893 and finally opened on February the 4th by the Marquess of Salisbury. The public transport section did not have long to wait. It commenced on the 6th of March 1893. The world's first electric railway had automatic electric signals and a line from Herculaneum Dock to Seaford Carriage Shed. It had 11 stations at the beginning: Brocklebank, Canada, Sandon, Clarence, Princes, Pierhead, James Street, Custom House, Wapping, Brunswick and Toxteth. An electric escalator, the first of its kind, the Reno staircase, was installed at Seaford Sands in 1901. It was removed in 1906 because there were too many insurance claims by passengers against the railway. Clothing, especially women's long outfits, were continually getting caught and people falling over themselves as it moved and stopping suddenly. During the 1941 May Blitz, parts of the overhead railway were bombed and quickly repaired. However, the Second World War, through wear and tear and the bombing, deck plate supports for sections of the track were needed to be replaced, but at a costly price of £2 million. The company who ran the railway could not afford the price, and they proceeded to ask the council and the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board for help. They were refused, and with no help forthcoming, the rigorous public protest, the overhead railway, the first of its kind anywhere in the world, closed. The last train ran on December the 30th, 1956. There were many protests and attempts to save the overhead railway. Unfortunately, the protests fell on deaf ears. The only decision made by the people in power was to demolish it, and demolish it they did, leaving an enormous void in Liverpool's great heritage. There are few remnants left of the old overhead railway, and this one at Brunswick Dock. You can see the stairwell leading up to the station itself. And up here we have a tunnel that led to Dingle, because engineers had to bore through sheer sandstone for half a mile of tunnel to get to Dingle in an extraordinary feat of the 19th century. The Liverpool Overhead Railway, which is much missed, is a real Liverpool unequalled.
Here, during the new construction down at the Albert Dock, what you can actually see behind me is a building, the new Park 1 West building, that's shaped like the bow of a ship, and it just coincides with the Albert Dock, which was the very first enclosed dock in the entire world, built in 1846 by Jesse Hartley. It's absolutely wonderful, and it's Grade 1 listed. Why it was cutting edge at the time in 1846, before the Albert Dock was built, there was lots and lots of pilfery going on. Goods were going, businessmen, merchants were getting absolutely fed up. And Jesse Hartley, the docks engineer, came up with a brainchild
to build an enclosed dock. And this is what you see today, the very first enclosed dock system in the entire world. And it opened in 1846 by Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, hence the name Albert Dock. As you can see, people are just sitting down on a lovely day drinking coffee. But if you go back to the 1850s, the actual coffee beans in big sacks were being unloaded by the dockers. But unfortunately, there's no more dockers now. But they've been replaced by the tourists sitting down drinking the coffee. So therefore, it's come in a big full circle. Besides the coffee, what was coming into Liverpool, into the Albert Dock, was sugar, cotton, exotic fruits, spices from all around the world. And yet, Jesse Hartley said, we cannot afford for these to be pilfered. And he built the dock. And there was only one way in with the ships and one way out. No pilfering. And that's why the rest of the world copied this magnificent building. During the decline of the dock system, this became no exception, the Albert Dock, because it just went and fell into dereliction. And the dock itself, the water side of it, just silted up. And it wasn't until 1983 and the foresight of Michael Heseltine, the Minister of Merseyside then, he foreseen a great future for this dock. And today, modern times, it's become one of Liverpool's jewels in the crown for tourism.
Amazing. You know what? The more I hear you talk about that gentleman, the more I'm thinking there should be a picture of him in every conceivable business in Liverpool. There should be portraits on the walls. There should be.
Do you know what, Anthony? I had three television crews on alternative days. I had a German television crew. Say like on the Tuesday, on the Wednesday, I had a Japanese television crew. And on the Thursday, another Japanese television crew. You know, different stations, that is. And I brought them along to look at the Albert Dock, but at a different angle. And they were in complete awe of it. Because when we were on there filming, you know, both the Germans and the both Japanese companies, I said, yeah, follow me. I said, I want to show you something. And I showed them at a different angle. And I've shown other people, you know, like yourself, and, you know, when I brought people around, and they can't get over the angle I showed them, because that's the proper angle. You should look at, you know, I don't know, these guides, you know, they just go around showing things and going, oh, and this lovely and that lovely, you know, whatever. But they don't show you the angle that I showed them, because I even showed, I had 11 astrophysicists with me one day, and I was showing them around, and I showed them that angle, and they couldn't believe it as well, because when you look at the Albert Dock from the angle I showed them, it's in the middle of the Mersey. And they said, how did they do it then? You're talking 1846 when it opened. You see, it started in 1839.
How do you visualize it?
Sorry?
How do you visualize it?
Oh,
Well, how do
well,
you, wow.
when we talk about visionaries,
Yeah,
and he was a great visionary,
he was.
great engineering. It's
Oh,
like the overhead railway, Anthony.
yeah,
And Sir Douglas Fox and James Greathead, they, both partners, but it was Fox's idea because the council at the time was saying we've got to try and do something with the congestion of traffic. We've got to do something because it was chock a block. Going down the docks, getting the goods off and getting off again, wherever they were going. And you're not going to believe it, but Sir Douglas Fox, along with his sidekick, went into them and went, yeah. He said, how about this? And this is what he said. This is what he said. He said, I'll build you a railway in the sky to alleviate the congestion. And they looked at him as though he was mad.
you would. Yeah.
And, they said, yeah, well. And he said, it won't only be like an overhead railway, but it'll be electrified too. And they said, how can you do electrified? It's only come out. You see what I mean? And that's what they did. And we had the very first escalator in the world as well at Seaford Sands, leading up to the railway.
Yeah.
An escalator, electrified escalator. Incredible.
It is incredible. And you know what? You inspired me to go on another journey, as well as the ones you already have. And if we may talk privately or we may talk on the pod about 5 names, just 5 names of people of genius like that. That people
And
should.
Johan says, my mate said that they held a vote to demolish the colonial buildings. The Supreme Court of India judged, quote, whilst we acknowledge the horrors of the past, bulldozing beauty isn't the solution for the future, unquote. And that's so right.
That's a perfect quote.
Now, I'm telling you something now. I gave a series of lectures from the April to the September when St. George's Hall closed down, to get it refurbished. I was asked to give 2 lectures a week, to keep the vibrancy going. I said, yeah, okay. So I was given two lectures a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday. They're the only times I could do them because I was already teaching anyway. Anyway, when I was standing outside one day, and this is the thing I got. An old boss of mine came up to me, and he was younger than me. And he said, "Hiya, Frank, what are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, I'm giving a couple of lectures a week here." He said, "Are you?" I said, "Yeah, St. George's Hall." And he said to me, "You're very, very lucky." I said, "Yeah, most probably they're asking me." He said, "Oh," and I said, I don't mean that, giving lectures, because you're the right person to give a lecture." He said, "What I mean is, you're lucky that it's still standing because we wanted to knock it down, didn't we, in 1983 to make way for the car park, multi-story car park for the people."
Jesus. There we talk about vision, the previous decades, and now this. Is this what you want to do? Yeah, knock it down. We'll put a car park there. Might make a tenner a week. Really?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, as well, at the same time, and I've told you this, and I've said it on here, excuse me, and I've said it on here as well on numerous of occasions, they wanted to knock the town hall down as well.
That's just
At the same time. So, it's like what Johan's saying about colonialism, but what they were thinking, not only colonialism, but imperialism. And that stands for imperialism. And you just can't get your head around some, visionaries, if you like, very poor visionaries.
Well, what's the exact opposite of visionaries? It's back to Shakespeare again, isn't it?
Yes.
What a decade we live.
I'll go through these, Anthony, if you don't mind. It's what goes through their pockets and wallets that they care about, says Christopher.
You know what, Christopher? That's more and more painfully bang on the money.
Yeah.
Even with our own.
And Gary says, unbelievable what they pulled down in the 70s. Yes. And Lynn says, fabulous compared to what they have done. Yep. And Stepan, he hasn't gone for Danny Elliott. The Beatles played one of their first in the theatre of the Lewis Hotel. It was a remarkable one, apparently. Yeah, the Beatles did play there. But anything where the Beatles played, they knocked down, unfortunately. Except the Locarno, where I seen them as a 14-year-old. And Gary says Lime Street was fantastic as well with all the old cinema. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Janet says, that's still there. Which is still there. See, this out. She means the David Lewis Theatre. It's not. It's gone. Well gone. The dismantling of the beautiful buildings is a sorrowful event, says Bell, with grand structures vanish, turning architectural presence into a tender memory of what was once defined the cityscape. Yeah. That's a cracking comment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the identity. And you've known Lady and I for over 25 years, for a long, long time. But even we get embroiled in, shall we call it, shenanigans.
That's what it is, shenanigans.
We were asked to step in and put some work up at on a place which more and more you look at it, the more and more sacred it was. Unfortunately, a lot of these buildings are given over, sold to people who don't give a stuff. And so for 30 and 40 years, these buildings fall apart. And no one wants to spend the money to make them pristine again.
No. It's like the Irish Centre.
Oh, yes.
Built in 1816 to commemorate the victory over Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. And in 1815, previous year. Point is, it was called the Wellington Rooms
Yeah.
after the Duke of Wellington. And I, I've graduated loads of times, and I always went in the Irish Centre, for a drink when it was open.
Yeah.
And I used to look at the ceiling at about 10 o'clock in the night when I'm on the floor. Look it up. But that was a bit of humour, that Anthony, on the floor, 10 o'clock, loads of drink.
I didn't
No,
see that as humour. I just saw that as the way we live.
yeah. Yeah. On the deck, after a few, well, you'd be out after a few scotches. But anyway, I always used to look at the ceiling.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, I thought how remarkable it was. How remarkable and beautiful the plaster was. And the work went into it by these people at the time,
Craftspeople.
craft people, these professionals. And it was beautiful. And it's fell through. It's fell in. The ceilings just collapsed.
Yeah.
Because of neglect.
Yeah.
Neglect.
I last went in there with Lainey and our Emily when she was born, 1997, and
Yeah.
it was still visually, it was still absolutely jaw-droppingly beautiful.
Yep. Yep.
So in that relatively short space of time,
It in a short space of time, millions of things have gone. I'll just go through these because I
Yeah.
want to show you something.
yes,
Mikey Lees. Hiya, Mikey. Frank, how are you doing? Long time no see or hear. Mikey Lees. Hiya, Mikey. Oh, I hope you're well, mate. Yeah, it is a long time. Good to see you here. What a fantastic photo, says Toscana. What possessed the idiotic town planners to destroy it? I think she's referring to that.
that, yeah. Just, I would feel safe with Lainey getting off a bus and walking through that than I do now in town with no lighting.
And Bella says Lime Street, 1950s, fabulous 50s. Grandeur stood tall, Palace, Forum, before the Great Fall. Progress swung harsh. The magnificent stone was shattered and lost, tragically gone.
Yeah.
Christopher, fantastic video. Oh, thanks. Thanks for that. Oh, said that. And Lynn says another one similar is the Uskerson Wet Dock. What a great city. I'm jealous, says Toscana. No need to be jealous.
No. Just enjoy it. We enjoy it.
And Johan says, blind sheep, Mr. Brown, the opposite of visionaries. How about that?
Possibly, Johan. I would not argue with that at all. The problem as we step into these modern ages and we realize that how corrupt people can be for a tenner or a 50 quid or whatever.
And Christopher says, Mary Hopkins, you don't know what you've done, or you don't know what you've got until it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah. No.
Absolutely. And Steppen says, for anyone interested, read the intro of Bygone Liverpool 1913, the author comments on a century ago, as we do now, regretting Liverpool has destroyed so much of its heritage, unlike other cities.
Yes.
I've saved a couple of places.
Yeah. This is my thing about it should not be the council's decision. It should be a heritage foundation.
I'll just read what Bella says. Franco, I speak Italian to my daughter. She types to English to you. No Italian to my daughter. She types the words in English for me. Well, tell your lovely daughter that it's the grammar is brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. And she is so fantastically welcomed in the family.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely, Bella. What Anthony says. I'll just read this. Few cities which can boast. Now, this is, I think it was 1913, Bygone Liverpool. Few cities which can boast of boast an antiquity at all compare with that of Liverpool, have so ruthlessly obliterated all the visible memorials of their past. Though it's 700 years since the borough was founded, it contains no building of any importance which is 250 years old, and only two, St. Peter's Church and the old Blue Coat School, both apparently doomed to destruction, which carry us back as far as 200 years. Scores of towns and villages of less antiquity and dignity than Liverpool can at least show a church dating back to the 14th century or earlier, but Liverpool has demolished its ancient churches and rebuilt them in modern style. The Church of Walton, which was mentioned in the Domesday Book and is the mother church of all the districts, was rebuilt in instalments during the 18th and 19th centuries. The ancient Liverpool Chapel of St. Nicholas, which had been the centre of life of the borough ever since its creation in the middle of the 14th century, was demolished and rebuilt by our unsentimental ancestors during the same period, the same period, the still more ancient Chapel of St. Mary's of the Quay vanished altogether. St. Mary's El Keys, yeah. But what you've got, what he hasn't mentioned there, and he talks about St. Mary's, I think, in Walton. That was St. Mary's, the Church of Walton, which was mentioned in the Domesday. Right facing St. Mary's was a little grammar school, and it was the first grammar school in the Northwest. And I had the privilege to teach there. And it was spoken about by an antiquary and librarian, John Leland, when he first spoke about Liverpool. And that's where he stayed, at the old grammar school. And that was in 1537. And unfortunately, I don't know when the grammar school was built, but I'd say it's the same time as St. Mary's Church. St. Mary's Church was built in 960, And I think just after that, the likes of the grammar school, I think that was built around 1450 or something like that, which I actually taught it. I was a tutor there.
Fabulous.
Not in 1450, might I add, Anthony.
Oh, you're looking good on that. If you, it's all that line on your back looking at ceiling.
Yeah, look at that ceilings. Especially Irish.
Fantastic.
Thank you for that, Stefan. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Franco. Oh, yeah, I've said that. Thank you to your lovely daughter.
Bella, what's your daughter's name? A big hug from us two, and Jason.
Yeah. And as Bella said, meant to say, I speak Italian and my daughter translated into English for your show. Of course she does. And thank her very much for us.
Yes.
And Johan to Stephen, Stepan. Thank you, Stepan. We'll definitely check it out. P.S. The Poe documentary you suggested was incredibly well done. Thank you. Lovely.
Brilliant. Lovely.
There's our old friends, F. Hey, F. Hope you're well. FRO. And Johan, based on the intro of Bygone Liverpool, it almost seems like the local council bringing down buildings as part of their inherent, attitude. Why do they want to erase the past? Unfortunately, I've called them out for years. Johan, I've called them out for years. I've actually saved a couple.
Yeah.
One of the ones I did save, was the ancestral home of Sir Spencer Perceval. And Sir Spencer Perceval was the British Prime Minister, or the only British Prime Minister to be assassinated by John Bellingham on the 11th of May, 1812. And he wanted to pull his ancestral home down in Calderstones Park. But it's still there today. It's been saved.
Yeah.
I said to one councillor, I said, do you realise what that stands for, the historical significance? And he said, no, what is it? I said, Sir Spencer Perceval. He said, who was he? Or who's he? Not even past tense. Who's he? I just shook my head. You can imagine what I told him or said to him.
And the Lyceum?
And the Lyceum, yeah. He wanted to pull that down.
One of the most famous pubs in the city of Liverpool.
Yes. Yeah, I got a call off, but you know him, Freddie O'Connor. Get down here. I said, what for? He said, get down. Gets down to the post house. Just imagine pulling the post house down. Charles Dickens. Nathaniel Hawthorne. You know, he wrote the Scarlet Letter. He hated Liverpool, by the way. Hawthorne. He was an American consul. And he said, I don't like this place. I don't like it. It's too rough, he said.
It's all right. See ya.
But anyway, he used to go in there. And someone said to me, you know, I don't know whether it was Freddie himself or Frankie. When the Beatles, I'm talking about, I'm not saying all the Beatles, but anyway, you have to say the Beatles collectively. When they they used to go about, if they ever got dropped off somewhere and it was near, say like the magistrate's court, for example, they used to do a shortcut down towards, was it Frankie or Freddie? They used to cut down towards the post house, and they used to say, "Yeah, let's go in and have a drink before we carry on," to the cavern or the grapes.
Yeah, because of
Now
course.
you wouldn't argue with that, would you?
No. Well, the cavern didn't have a bar, didn't serve alcohol.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the iron door.
Yeah.
They used to. I didn't even know the. And Jason's uncle, he owned it. He owned the iron door.
Wow.
Jeff Hogarth. And I had him on the show once. And we were talking, and I was saying about the bands. I said I used to go there as a young lad, 14, 15,
Yeah.
to the Iron Door, to the all-nighters.
Yeah.
And I used to watch the Searchers, the original band, and our friend in the Undertakers, Mr. Nugent.
Mr. Nugent, and our dear friend, Mr. Kinsley.
Oh,
Man, the talent that's gone through those.
Billy. Oh, Billy. Oh, fuck. Every time I think about that man, that beautiful man. And you know what? He said to me, like this is on the show, he said, the Beatles used to appear, I said, I only thought that they ever appeared on the cavern. He said, oh no. He said, they always appeared at the Iron Door.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen photos of McCartney at the Iron Door, yeah. Yeah.
Owen says, I also watched the Poe documentary and loved it. I would never normally go for that sort of thing, but thanks to this channel, my horizons have broadened so much. Says Owen Lee.
Me too.
And Ephemeral says, anything by Poe or about him is a treat. I've read his stories so many times, I need something new. Well, if you look out for us on Wednesday, what are we doing on Wednesday, Anthony?
We are doing the history of literature, which is well and truly a labour of love. And thankfully, not just from me and Frank, but from everyone. And we can promise you that we will bring Poe into Wednesday's show.
Definitely. Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
And what another thing as well. Well, I've just seen a post there. What else is also is, we won't say it now, Anthony, we won't say it now, is the great Liverpool connection with Edgar Allan Poe. We won't, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday.
That will be a labour of love.
It will be. It's a great, great Liverpool connection.
Yeah.
And FLL said, I have a job interview on Wednesday, but hopefully I can make it. Of course you will, because...
You will. And you will get the job. And then wind down with a glass of whatever you prefer, and then...
I think she's a wine drinker. Is that ephemeral? I think she's a wine drinker. Definitely a wine drinker. Unlike you, you're Scotch drinker.
Well, you know I'll drink anything, but Scotch is the one. I'd drink Cook and Sherry if that was all that was in the cupboard.
Yeah, look at that. Johan, the Beatles' travels to India inspired my stay here, saving Rishikesh for the end. They loved
Well,
it. George Harrison fell in love with India.
beautiful, and so did the others. The only one of the four really that grumbled about it was Ringo because he didn't like the food. So he had a suitcase full of baked beans shipped out to him. But absolutely, the music that time gave us the world, everything from Blackbird to oh,
Well, Mark, I see Mark this morning on a football thing, and I was going to answer him, but it was a bit too late. Uh, he said, about slot. I said, anyway, that's a football thing. I won't be doing that until next week. But he says, author of Robinson Crusoe, Daniel Defoe says of the new dock in 1715, this is of so a great a benefit, and it's like I've never seen anywhere in Britain, never seen anywhere in the world, because it was the first of its kind in the world, the dock. That was in 1715. The first dry dock in the world, site, Custom House, 1828. I'll tell you another thing, Mark, as well, about Daniel Defoe. He stayed in. He stayed in. I can show you it in Castle Street, and he loved the castle. He loved the castle. And he had pictures of the castle. That was just by him there. And he wrote half of Robinson Crusoe whilst there in Castle Street, Liverpool. There you go, Daniel. Because he used to look at the sailors boarding ships. He used to look at the sailors boarding the ships, the masted ships. You could imagine that, couldn't you? Really. And Bella
yeah.
says, hello, Franco and Antonio and all your guests, Bella's daughter, Marcella. Hiya, Marcella. Is it Marcella or Cella? Because we say Cella,
And
but in
Sella,
Italian it'll be Cella.
a big
Oh,
hug and welcome from us, and thank you for what you're doing for Mum and for all of us and fellow chatters.
yes.
Welcome to the family.
It's like a lad who comes on here called Achi, and he says, am I half a Scouse because my mum's a Scouser? And I
That,
say, yes, of
yeah,
course you're.
yeah,
It's like me.
yeah,
I'm half Italian, but proper one.
yeah. Beautiful. So what you're doing, Marcella, is absolutely fantastic. It's wonderful. Thank you, and we totally appreciate it. The three of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Marcella. Really. And Ephemeral says, I tend to drink port more.
That's
But we
me
knew
going
that
off.
it'd be a wine, didn't we? We knew that it'd be a wine.
Yeah, that's right. Well, of
Well,
course, just strictly tea drinkers.
yes.
I'm just taming the eyebrow down. Yeah,
And water drinkers.
yeah,
And thanks, he says. No, thank you, F. Really, thank you.
yeah.
And Stefan to Johan. Thanks for the kind words and encouragement. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
really nice, though.
yeah.
And Stefan, he gives him a drink.
Yeah.
The lovely Ambi says, "Hi, Marcella."
Brilliant.
And Toscana, "Ciao, Marcella." So we're all right now, aren't we? That was great, though. That was a great conversation
That's
with the lovely
very
chatters there.
brilliant. And that's how we go. That's how we meander through the good stuff.
Yes. Can I show you something?
Yes, please.
Let me just go through these a minute. That was the very first town hall.
Wow.
The very first town hall.
In the same spot, Frank.
It was called I forget what it was bloody called. The Exchange. The Exchange. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
And look at that. The Gothic drinking fountain was designed by Louis Hornblower and Edouard André and dates back to the opening of Sefton Park in 1872. It reminds you of Dandy Pat's thing, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it's quite gothic, isn't it?
Yeah, very Gothic.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. That's brilliant.
It's good. Look at that.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? I'll tell you what they are.
Yes, please.
If you can imagine, do you know where that arena is today? And as you're going in, you've got a massive wall, also designed by Jesse Hartley, by the way, and it's of that stone. Yeah, it's of that stone, Anthony.
Yeah.
I'm not going to believe what they are. They are the police huts. You know, when the dockers were going out.
Okay, security.
Yeah, and look at them though, the French design stone.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible. The old exchange there, look at that. And they built on it, look. Look at that, William Gowan Erdman. Have you noticed in the foreground there, you've got one of the first taxis, the way you get a fellas run with it.
Wow.
You know, one of them little things you sit in and four fellas pick you up and run with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The taxis.
The rickshaw thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
With no wheels, though. Oh, look at that. That's in that was in Dale Street. Oh, look at that.
It just looks like, again, that could be anywhere. It could be Venice. It could be Italy. It could be France. Beautiful.
Well, do you know the Racket Club down Chapel Street?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful building.
Yeah.
And what you've got there, you've got the likes of Columbus, you know, the bust, the head. just a bust,
Yeah.
of Columbus and other. Well, he was a Genoese, but you've got the Spanish. You've got the Spanish heads as well around there, and people always think that it was a Spanish consulate, and
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was just a club. I've given a few talks there actually, but beautiful. Such a sad thing, isn't it? Bloody hell. I'm going to show you something. Hang on. Let me take that away. I hope you can see this.
Yes.
Right. Now there. Right. That is, Anthony, if you think about it, that's the dock that Jesse Hartley built, the Albert dock. Now I'm going to go along here, and this is what I mean about. I hope I can get this. See here, that's all river. That's all river going right along. See?
Yeah.
That's all river. And when you think about it, if you take all this away, all this, and all that, you take all this away around here, and all these, by the way, and these, and all this, and you've just got a river, haven't you, going
Yeah.
right along.
Yeah.
Right along. And yet, this was the first built. Think about it. And that's the middle of the river. See what I mean? Because you've got the salt house dock.
Yeah.
See what I mean? This was built in the middle of a river. Oh, the ephemeral's gone. Bye for now. Have a great evening, all. Thank you, F. See you soon. See you soon. Talking of the Fab Four, my son is watching the Beatles songs they gave away. To say they were talented is an understatement. They made careers for so many. Absolutely, they did make. They did make people famous. The songs. Toscana Tabella. I'm okay, thank you. Enjoying this podcast. Ali Danusa, our Romanian friend. Good evening.
Good evening, Ali.
And to own. Thanks to, I'm still reading through all the tale. Dupin is without doubt the father of Sherlock Holmes, even in behaviour, having a sidekick.
Yeah.
Toscana. Can I be a Scouser? I can get my friend to teach me the accent.
You don't need the accent, just the heart. And you've got that. So, yes.
These are all Scousers.
Yeah.
And Owen says, in 85, I was an apprentice lift engineer based in Jamaica Street. We changed the cables on the lift that went straight down to the vault. The security guard showed me all around the tunnels. Yet they had lots of tunnels. And Barclays Bank, sorry. Yes, of course. We know. That's lovely. Thanks, Owen, for that.
Thank you, Owen.
And the lovely Daniela. Good evening, Frank and Anthony. You both look very good tonight.
Thank you, Daniela. That's very kind of you to mention.
No one else mentions it, though, do they?
Oh, we've spent a couple of days lying on the floor looking at ceilings, and we are
And saving buildings. Yes, so what do you think of that there?
I just think that's amazing. Just again, vision.
Oh, incredible vision. Absolutely incredible. And do you ever remember that building I showed you? You know, there's the sorry, the Sailor's Home there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And just behind it, you can just see a part of it, unfortunately. There. That's that building I showed you, you know, before.
Yeah.
It's such a bloody shame, Anthony. It's such a shame that this is gone and that's gone.
Yeah.
That was the 5th Customers. This now, today, is Chivas Park. Just imagine that and that overlooking this today.
Yeah.
Looks me sick. It really annoys me, you know, Anthony. It really annoys me, you know, when we do things and say things and it brings back bad memories. You know, good memories, don't get me wrong, more good memories than bad. But when we talk about buildings and they've gone, I've just shown 2 there. And the likes of, you know, what could have happened to St. George's Hall. Everybody who gets off a train at Lime Street Station, and I'm talking about everybody, and the first thing they come into is, or looks at, is St. George's Hall, and they go, wow. These lads, when Liverpool were playing Real Madrid a few weeks ago, they come off the train and, you know, they got the camera out and they're walking. And when they come out of Lime Street and they look over, they go, look at that, you know, look at that building.
Absolutely.
That's
what a glorious feeling.
And one of the great socialists, Tony Benn, when he first came to Liverpool, and he said, didn't he? He said, when he came down and he went into it, just walked down anyway. And he came across St. George's Hall and the other neoclassical buildings, and he was shocked. He said, I didn't realise, look at this.
Yeah.
And Bella says, Mama, and I love listening to your show. Mamma mia. And I love listening to your show. Thank you, Bella. Thank you once again for the great show, gents, says Owen Lee.
Thank you, Owen. And thanks for the insights as well to you.
And Johan, Franco and Mr. Brown, unwarranted life update, but I've started volunteering to teach underprivileged children. Hey, oh, brilliant. Might as well play my part. This country is something else. India is one of the most incredible countries on the planet. India. The subcontinent of India. And I think that's absolutely wonderful what you're doing.
I think so too. That is just fantastic, Johan. You will make a difference. It's sharing knowledge, as we know through Father Frank, is an absolutely wonderful thing.
It is, you know. When we did the philanthropists,
Yeah,
and we still got to do them as well, other philanthropists.
yeah,
When we did them, and I mentioned about our Jarrett's lad James, what he does for people here.
yeah,
It's incredible, bringing them stuff, these people who have nothing
yeah,
in the homes. He brings televisions. He brings fridges, he brings beds, he brings three-piece suites, he brings everything. Lights, everything. He's such a sweetheart. And it's beautiful, and the girl, Annie Mack, who's a friend of mine, her and her husband go out. They went on holiday once, Anthony. And he goes out there. They go out there, but they seen the kids, and poverty-stricken kids, and they were coming up to them. And they go every year. They vowed to come back the following year and help the poor, and that's what she does. Her and her husband. And Johan's doing the same, which is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Well done, Johan. Honestly, well done, mate.
yeah.
And Ken Patchy, is Beatles part of Liverpool history? Any good Beatles memory?
Yeah. Yes. And yes. Yeah.
Is Beatles part of Liverpool history?
1,000,001. Yeah.
Big thanks, says Donna Taylor. Hiya, Donna. Big thanks. I've just got a taxi, and I was talking about your channel, Frank. Thank you.
Ah.
Thank you, Donna. Oh, I really appreciate that, sweetheart.
Spread the word.
And it's good. I'll have to tell Ken when I was 14, bunked off school. We were in the playground in the afternoon, and my mate said, he's no longer with us now, unfortunately. He said, do you want to come and see the Beatles? I said, who are they? And he said, come on, we'll go. I said, I had never had a clue. And we shot up to the Locarno. And there was all these girls, just loads of girls, no fellas, all young kids, like our age.
Yeah.
And a few grown-ups, like a few bigger ones. And anyway, we joined in the queue. We got in, and I seen the Beatles.
And you know what? How strange it sounds, but there aren't that many people really that did that.
No.
Because of demand, and also the gigs they did. They didn't hold like now. You can get what's the average football? Like 16, 20,000 more, 60,000.
Yeah. Why?
Now the gigs are like that. The gigs are like that now, aren't they? 60,000.
Yeah.
It was like 200, max to get in to the halls and the church clubs and stuff like that,
Well, you've only got to look at Shea Stadium when the Beatles went over there, sell out.
Yeah.
But, you know, as John said at the end, we couldn't hear ourselves.
Yeah.
And he was right, wasn't he? Now, when I was in the Locarno, looking at these lads, I was looking actually down at them. And when they were playing, I never heard a sound of them. All as I heard was screaming at all these tough girls.
Yeah.
Just screaming.
Because technology had not got the amplification and stuff that we now have. I've probably got a louder amplifier in the cupboard there than they would have had.
Yes.
You know.
Well, you know, you're seeing the music, and on the rooftop, and they were brilliant.
Yeah.
They were them live.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The Beatles. And that's how good they were. I know a few people who actually seen them in the cavern. And again, he says, you know, it was more like Beatlemania, even in the cavern, you know, before Beatlemania came about, if you like, globally.
Yeah.
And he said it was just screaming. And he said, you know, he said one night they stopped playing. They just stopped playing. Just stopped it like that because of all the screams and, you know, and all the dancing. And they said, we can't hear us. I don't know who said it. I don't know whether he said McCartney or someone. Said, we can't hear ourselves and we can't hear ourselves playing. Can you just stop it a minute? And they sang Please Please Me. So it must have been around the time that Please Please Me came out when, and he said everyone went quiet.
Yeah.
And this is in the afternoon.
Yeah.
He said, you know, there was a lunchtime session. So they all stopped and they played Please Please Me.
Yeah.
I said, did you hear it? He said, oh, they were brilliant, yeah. You know, every note, every song, lyric that was played, every note on the guitars, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. This is something that we talked about before with history, with architecture, with builders, with artists, with people assume that they're born and they have this brilliance about them. They have an idea where they want to go, but the Beatles played every single day, sometimes 3 and 4 times a day, and it's like a painter. If you paint one picture every 10 years, it is not going to be anywhere near as good as someone who paints religiously every day, every day, every day. And you know yourself, to be a historian, you have to study, not just one day a month. But so it's that amassing those skills, and because they did it all the time, you know, and they honed their natural ability. I mean, the Scousers have got a great way of presenting life, you know, because
Well, they did. They presented Liverpool as there's like Lisa Rosa, for example. She was the first female, you know, to get a #1 hit.
How much is that joggy?
How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail.
Yeah.
How much is that dog? But you know, so and you're also the likes of Billy Fiore.
Yeah.
Not Billy Fiore, Frankie Vaughan, Like
Thank
you
you.
had the likes of him,
Yeah.
and but and there's a big caveat here. He said he didn't come from Liverpool, didn't he?
That's the hyacinth bucket thing, isn't it? It's
Yes.
you had the likes earlier than that. You had the likes of Arthur Askey, people like that, who who people say was very humorous before our time. But you know
Oh
what I mean.
yeah.
But
You learn airplane, mates.
yeah, yeah, and that.
I like airplane. And he used to work down at the. He used to work at the education offices, and you
Wow.
know who went in there for a job and asking him. Shall I tell you who it was? You're not going to
Yeah.
believe this. Who asked him was Rex Harrison. Rex
Oh,
Harrison looking for a job. Oscar winner, great actor. Got any jobs going there, Arthur? Behave yourself, playmate. There's a barman's job going down the road in the post house. Marcella says, Franco and Antonio, how did Liverpool history as a major global port influence the scale, style, and variety of its architecture, such as the Three Graces and the Albert Dock? Well, we've always had great. Before I don't call them the Three Graces, to be honest. I call them the Liver, the Port of Liverpool, and the Cunard building, because they could lose their identity with calling them that. I'm not saying you,
yeah.
Marcella, but they could lose their identity. And it was proved one day when I was asked to take some couple of 300 graduates down to the waterfront. And I said, okay. They said, where have we got? Where are you taking us? I said, I'm going to show you. These were undergraduates of architecture. So as I was walking down, and they asked where I was going, where I was taking them. I said, well, I'm going to show you the waterfront first, and then further up, we'll look at the town hall. Then we make our way to St. George's Hall, and they said, okay. Anyway, on the way down, they said, so what are you showing us? I said, well, I'm showing you the Liver building, the Cunard building, and the Port of Liverpool building. And they said, what's that? And I said, you don't know what the Liver building is, Cunard's or the what? Or the Port of Liverpool building? And he went, well, I think we know the Liver, but we don't know them other two. Are they by the Liver? And that's where I really found out that their identity was being lost with the Three Graces.
Yeah. No, I don't like that either. Really, it's it's a bit like having a beautiful thing in your house, an ornament or whatever, and then covering it with a lovely blanket. It's that. And in terms with Marcella is, I think Liverpool takes its inspirations from global, and some we make up. Architecture, certainly. Um, Obviously, the greatest countries in the world, and Rome, Italy, and the like, were all instrumental in inspiring architects in Liverpool. But it becomes something different. It's like music. It's like the Beatles. The Beatles were all inspired by different soul music, um, all different kinds of music. But when it comes through them, it becomes something different. I see that's what happened in Liverpool.
Yeah, as she said about architecture, see, before you mentioned the three graces there, before you mention that, you had the likes of these wonderful this, for example, this building here,
Yeah,
and this beautiful building here. You know, this building here was built in 1828 by John Foster Jr., and this was before the Albert Dock.
yeah,
So we did have great architecture, you know, 100 or so years before um, the Three Graces, for example.
yeah,
But the Albert Dock is sensational. It really is sensational complex and a great piece of engineering for the mid 19th century. It was one of the most remarkable. It was like the overhead railway, what I mentioned before,
yeah,
Marcella. You know, you get this. It has a 60-year span, and corruption brought it down, unfortunately. We got rid of it. Corruption sheer, just like corruption's going on today. And they pulled it down, and yet, within the 60-year span of that overhead railway, electrified overhead railway, might I add, is at 73 million passengers. Just think about that, 73 million. And they pulled it bloody down. They pulled it down. And Johan, I thought they liked cricket, but football fanaticism is insane here. They have riots during the Bengal Derby in Calcutta.
wow,
Johan, I've seen Liverpool. Honestly, I've seen bars. You know, on the telly. I mean, on the streams of Liverpool. You know, all these Indians support Liverpool.
wow,
And when we won the league last season, last season, you see them all in India. You know, a few bars in India, though, giving it all, giving it loads. So yeah,
I'd never seen that, but my biggest shock in here in England was when I had some work in Oxford, and I went to Oxford, and you think of sleeping, wonderful, picturesque city, but every Derby day, every pub had shutters on the windows, just pieces of wood nailed up on the windows. And I said to our friend who hired us to go, I said, what's that about? He said, Derby Day. There's not a pub safe in. Wow, this is Oxford. No,
it's crazy, isn't it?
yeah.
Just nuts. And as he says, I also met a member of the official LFC fan club in India. They're called the Red Indians.
Oh,
Creative lads here,
I love it. I love the Red Indian.
the Red Indians.
Wow,
I love it. Aye, that's a crack. The Red Indians.
that is
You know,
brilliant.
obviously it's a connotation of the indigenous American, isn't it?
That's real Scouse humour as well.
Yeah, of course it is. And Daniela, the lovely Daniela, our Italian friend, she says, if those incredible buildings had not been destroyed, Liverpool would be such a magnificent city. It still is a magnificent city to us
It is. It's
because
just,
we have some remarkable buildings here
yeah, we do.
still, thank God.
Yeah.
And I had the lovely Toscana. I could listen to the stories about the Beatles for out. My friend saw them in early '63, and she could hear them sing then again in '64. She couldn't hear anything because of the screaming. She must have been with me then, wasn't she?
That's what stopped them touring, because he felt it's not
Yeah,
worth
he did.
going
That's
on
right. He did.
because you know,
He
'cause
did because
for
Paul
peace,
wanted to go touring, didn't he? And John went,
well,
well, what for? We can't hear ourselves.
John,
And this
John,
is even after the rooftop.
yeah,
They said, we can't play on rooftops every day, Paul.
well, yeah, the rooftop was supposed to be a big gig somewhere
Yeah.
like in front of the pyramids, or somewhere like something very, very big in the
They got
world.
offered to go to a place I should have gone to years ago. Palmyra in Syria. And they said, will you appear there? Because they could have just done the full, because the rooftop concert, they didn't do the full hit because of the stupid police
Yeah,
coming and throwing them off. They never done the full concert.
no, didn't, no.
And if they would have gone to Palmyra, it would have been astonishing. But you know what happens in Palmyra, don't you? Recently,
Yeah,
you know, ISIS destroyed it.
yeah,
They blew things up because it was a Roman city.
yeah. We tried to destroy
See,
her.
I go mad at these mad things. It was a great Roman city. And Stepan said, I believe it is today that John complete the recording of his last album, Double Fantasy. Double Fantasy.
Oh, the dates you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's kind of working on other stuff as well, which became an album after he died and stuff, and Yoko stuff. He was, yeah. I mean, one night we'll get back to music, which is a big part of Liverpool history.
Okay. Now, you just saying that. Danny Ellis says, Frank, why don't you do a Beatles dedicated podcast? We could easily do that. And I'll tell you who we bring in. Who do you think we should bring in to do that as well?
No finer than Jerick.
Yeah, Derek Shelmerdine.
Yeah,
We'll bring him in, eh? And we'll do that.
yeah,
So give us a couple of weeks.
yeah. We'll do that. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, we'll do that. We'll bring Derek Shelmerdine in. And Toscana to Daniela, I agree. So to do a podcast. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. How about that then?
That's brilliant for me, Frank. You know what a fan I am.
There's Toscana. Buonanotte, bella e Mattiella. So on that note, mister, I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll drop a little bit of Poe.
Yes.
We've
got to talk about the Liverpool connection as well with Paul.
Yes.
That's a must.
Yes. Yes.
Anything else?
It's just, well, there's always a lot to think of.
No, I was just going to say that. It's something easy, isn't it?
A 4 mile wide canvas, isn't it? Where are you going to start? And what you're going? We'll go through it. But you know, there's so many. I mean, with the Pope thing and the Liverpool connection, it also gives us a little window into how important art becomes to certain literature. And obviously, it's we have our favourites, and we flew the flag of William Blake last week, which I thoroughly enjoyed because it was a bit of a hard hitting one, really, when you opened up with that hate speech from a very, very, very reverend someone of no importance whatsoever. But it was horrible the way the country was, poor people, poverty was viewed, and William Blake was the greatest exponent of exposing that stuff. And then later we have, well, Charles Dickens and the like.
I think, people just say, let for example, like literature is literature. But they don't realise, Anthony, how important literature is in history.
No, they don't, Frank. And I love literature. I've loved it since I was a kid, and I love history. I never ever devoted the study to it that I now feel that I should have. But I am, we are, together with us two, with Jason, and with all of the guys, all the wonderful chats. We are, and we do learn something every. Those people that say literature is literature, I don't read books, or and I know people my age, my life, that say, nah, I haven't got time to read a book. Well, you've got 16 hours in a day to sit in front of a box which gives you different versions of books.
Totally different. Even films, I always remember I read Jaws, just for example.
Peter
I read
Benchley.
Jaws, Peter Benchley. And when the film came out, it was different.
Yeah.
Albeit you had the big fish, swimming around, eating everyone. But also the storyline, a big chunk of the storyline was totally different.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? But it was still
know exactly what you mean.
But there is. And I'll tell you another thing as well about literature. You always get adapted books. Adapted. They get adapted by, I don't know the fuck they are like, but anyway, they adapt it and leave chunks out of the original story. That's why, I try to read a story that's not adapted.
And it's absolutely right, because it's terrific. If you take that to a piece of artwork like the Mona Lisa, and someone says, "Well, if you the hair's out of fashion now, so we rip that section of the canvas off, and then there we have it." Horrific, terrific. And the same,
That's right.
yeah.
But it's on Wednesday, we go through a few things.
Yeah.
And, the likes of Poe, Blake's bound to come up. The great man, Keats is bound to come. Browning.
Yeah.
Browning.
I
love that man.
And
we love all the poets. Come on.
Dickens is there in everything because Poe was greatly influenced by Dickens. That writing about things that are real. It's not a new thing, but there are. You said before about that line about people read, but they don't really read. That's where you your Mills and Boone and all these kind of sanitized novellas kick in.
Yeah,
And it's only when someone says the way you're living now, the way your family lives, that is all in this book. Read that book.
yeah. And it's right though, isn't it? When we're at school, we get told to read little books, right? Just to get into the thing from nursery rhymes. Then you get these little like stories, and then as you get older, as I said, I used to bunk off school and go around to the library, the Picton, the Central Library, William Brown Street.
Yeah.
And I used to go in there and pick these books up, about Napoleon, about the wonderful Vespasian and Marcus Aurelius and Caesar. These people, these unbelievable people. Nelson, Montgomery. I love Montgomery. Marshal Zukov. And these are people, that are going, wow. And then I started to get into, as I got older, a lot older, and I started to, really at university to study these wonderful people more in depth.
Yes.
And it's also like literature, studying the likes of Charlotte Bronte, for example.
Yeah.
We don't need to we don't need to mention Dickens because he's the man. Then Shakespeare, he's the man. Then you get the poets, these incredible poets who've just put words, condensing stories into like sonnets and things like that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Paint
It really is.
Yeah.
Then you've got the likes of your portrait of Wilfred Owen and his poetry. I hold my hands up. Christopher says, night Frank and Anthony and everyone up the history Reds.
Good night, Christopher. Cheers, mate.
Up the history Reds. And Steppen says there are 4 Fabs and 4 freestanding liver birds, as Frank taught me, which. I vote for the Walker Gallery, one to be Paul. He won first prize of poetry at 9 years old in the Picton next door. Go away.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was asked by a fella there, he does these taxis. And it's like a step in there, just reminded me. I think I told you this. And he said, Frank, he said, would you go in a taxi with people and show, about the Beatles? And I had to refuse him. I said, no. I said, there are people who know more about the Beatles than the Beatles know about themselves. He said, what do you mean? And it's just like what Steppen said there about, Paul won a Picton thing, and, for poetry and at 9 years of age. Incredible. Thank you, Frank, says Johan, Mr. Brown and Jason, and legends. Love you all. Take care, everyone. May God guide you all to greatness. Peace to the soul. Isn't that lovely?
That's lovely. We love you too, Johan. Thank you for that.
Lovely. He's a nice, lovely fella. And Toscana. Oh, Derek's brilliant. I look forward to that.
Okay.
Toscana. Great evening, Franco, Anthony, and chatters. Grazie. Christopher. Frank, they also cut audio books. I usually only listen to unabridged. Yes. Yes, good man.
Good
Good
point.
man. That's great, that, Christopher. I'm glad you said that. So he only goes unabridged.
Yeah.
Oh, Daniela, that's great. Thank you, Frank and Anthony. So that she means that we're going to do a beacon thing. Marcella, thank you for the excellent answer. I appreciate your clear explanation. Sorry, I said 3 grand. No, don't be, never ever be sorry.
Never.
Please never ever be sorry, Marcella. Please don't be that. It's just one of those things. But if you can ever remember the Liver, the Cunard, and the Port of Liverpool building, that's all. Because things can get lost.
In
You know,
labels.
yeah, they lose their identity.
Yeah. I think that's the way cities lose their identity, really. With too
Me
many
too.
glass houses, not enough
Yes,
history.
yes, totally agree. Totally agree. And on that wonderful note, with this lovely Marcella, and never ever say sorry to us again,
No.
Marcella. But thank you. Thank you for your wonderful grammar for your mum.
Yeah.
It means so much to us. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And on Wednesday, it's the history of literature. And we'll be bringing out lots of things,
Yeah.
especially, the quotes. The quotes.
The quotes. And
I just,
again, feel free if there's a name that is,
yeah, please. Yeah,
drop a name.
just drop a name. And when I was lecturing up at the university, there used to be a priest named Gerard Manley Hopkins, Father Gerard Manley Hopkins. And he was parish priest of St. Francis Xavier's, right? And he was one, I'm being honest, honest. He's in the bracket of the romantics, the likes of Wordsworth, Blake, Bard, everyone, Keats, Browning. He's in the category of them, when you see his poems. I'm not going to read one because I could never understand them. Could never understand. Gerard Manley, and he was parish priest of St. Francis. And he never liked Liverpool. He was like Nathaniel Hawthorne. He said it's too rough.
He comes from the leafy suburbs or the countryside.
Do you know where he came from? Well, Wales. He was Welsh. He was a Boyle. He was a Tom Jones fella.
Okay.
Hello there, Boyle. I don't like Liverpool. So what? Egghead. But he was the parish priest anyway. Little Lambie. Thank you, Frank, Anthony, and all in the chat. No, thank you, Ellen. Thank you so much for joining us. And on that wonderful note, I'll see you with Johan. Honestly appalling that city council knows less than the local historians. Governor hiring the wrong uns. No show tomorrow, Franco. No, I'm having a night off because I think Jason's having a night off because he said to me, he said, what are you doing? I went, he said, you're not having a show tomorrow. And I went, I never said anything. And you're having a show on Wednesday. Yeah, history and literature. I said, yeah. You're not having a show on Thursday. And I went, but you're having a show on Friday, the current affairs. Yeah. And never even mentioned the film show on the Saturday morning,
Right.
But I tell you what, I might have one on Thursday. It depends on Wednesday, Anthony.
Yeah.
And if we get enough people, talking about different things, we might have to carry on over to the Thursday.
That's great with me, Frank. The beauty of it all is that we never know. There's no script. We don't know where we're going.
No, that's it. That's why.
Well, we kind of do know where we're going, but not. There's no specific.
No, we don't know where we're going.
I,
So try and backtrack.
We'll stop that. We'll do it. Doesn't happen.
You know that we're going to annoy Jason, don't you? If you be listening in, he'd be going.
Of course, and we don't mean to, Jace. If you booked yourself to go to pictures, we'd be okay. Just leave us a couple of bags of crisps and a bottle of lemonade each, and we'll go for it.
And Johan says, enjoy your day off. You deserve it after 2 footy shows last week. To be honest, what I'm only going to do, Johan, on the football, I'm going to have, honestly, just one podcast on the football and do the watch along. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And the rest is going to be, well, what we're doing now. And the current affairs. I always wait for knocks on the door at 2 o'clock in the morning to get nicked. And Johan's giving me pints and you loads of scotches.
We'll save them for Wednesday.
Yes. And on that note, before he gets drunk, thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much. Got to thank Gap Painting Services.
Absolutely.
For sponsoring all the pods, every single pod. And just get them in, please. Please get them in. Don't struggle. Unlike most of us struggle. Just get them in. They're very, very reasonable. First class. Leave your house whatever way you want. Whatever way you visualize your house with all the what paint you get or even wallpaper, It'll be fantastic. And you get a special discount if you're at NHS work and if you're an elderly, whether you're single or a couple. Just get them in. Do not struggle. And also get them in for a price without any obligation. And you'll be quite surprised. And on that note, Anthony, who's the most important people we have to thank?
Well, there's our brother who's not in the middle of us, but he should be a picture of him there. There's our Jason. We thank for keeping us on the road. And most of all is our beautiful chat family who steer us in the directions we sometimes have no idea we're going. The beautiful, I love the unexpected, and they are great.
They are, it is, and that's a great word that you came out with. A great terminology, the unexpected. And it is. It surprises us, doesn't it? Every time it surprises us.
Yeah.
Every comment, to be honest. And the likes of that lovely Marcella who writes out in English for her mum.
Just
She must
absolutely.
interpret some of the things as well that we say, you know. What did he say then?
And that's wonderful because that's rooted in where we come from, where you and I have such a passion and a strong link to
Yes.
our mothers and our families and where we come from. We will never ever forget the
No.
people involved. You know,
No.
it's wonderful. Love it.
Yeah. Well, and on that savoury note, I'm gonna end, and I'll see you on Wednesday
See you Wednesday.
and possibly Thursday. I think it's more possible, not possibly. I think it'll be more possible. We'll carry it over. Thank you so much, people. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for keeping Anthony and myself company with wonderful comments. Absolutely brilliant comments. Thank
Yeah.
you. We'll see you hopefully on Wednesday. Thank you to our lovely Italian girls. Buonanotte. Grazie mille. Ci vediamo. Ciao.